And it's not until you travel to other places and realize, actually. Hey guys, it's Amanda. I'm absolutely loving this weather at the minute. Beautiful sunshine every day, so I've been taking the girls swimming, to the parks, just spending all my time outside. It's lush. But what have you been up to? Do you have any places that you'd recommend to visit? Because I'm always looking for new places. So let me know in the comments. Since starting this channel, I've had many comments on numerous videos that Americans think they're better than everyone else. So when I came across this video, do Americans think they are superior to others? I had to watch it. Now, being an American myself, I can safely say that I don't think I'm any better than anybody else. And I know many Americans that feel exactly the same. However, you will always get people to think that they're better, no matter what country you're in. That is just life.
History entertains us with the stories of Roman empires, the territorial tales of the Ottoman Empire, and the swashbuckling British Empire. But what about the Americans' imprint on the world? Although not really an empire in the traditional sense, Americans have left an imprint of culture, influence, and global economics around the world. Most, if not all countries, have a section of society who will take pride in their nationalism. In Thailand, all citizens stand still in public twice a day to respect the monarch. Indians have a high sense of national pride, with over 40% of her citizens believing she is the best country in the world. The Brits are still vocal about their past empire and World War victories, but when it comes to national pride, the good old USA just seems to have the edge. Today we find out why. In this episode of the Infographic Show, do Americans feel they are superior to everybody else? The United States is proud of its past, but shouldn't most countries be super proud of their past achievements? When it comes to achievements and inventions, the United States is no mere two-bit player on the world stage. The moon landing is not to be sneezed at, and the auto industry was a major industrial shot in the arm that has been replicated across the world. Then we have the invention of the worldwide omnipresent cell phone, the less visible submarine, and let's not forget the world's first nuclear reactor, all US projects and inventions. The PC and tech revolution that's taken the world by storm is largely American, not to mention the internet, without which you probably wouldn't be watching this video right now. All this was achieved in a relatively short space of time, following America's involvement in World War II, a war that was crucial in helping to achieve an Allied victory, crushing the Axis powers and giving birth to the New World as we know it. National pride, or patriotism, is love and devotion to one's country, and a sense of alliance with other citizens who share the same values. In the United States and other larger countries such as Russia and China, national pride has a deep dimension. Each negative event that happens against the nation can reinforce a love for the country. Men and women every day from all nations do not hesitate to join the army and to prove their national pride with the business end of a semi-automatic rifle, and not always in a conflict that they fully understand. Americans, however, aren't always so fast to sign up for the war effort. In 1964, American citizens took a stand against their country's involvement in the Vietnam War, demonstrating against the government in what became a broad social civil liberties movement. Many of those within the peace movement were students, moms, or anti-establishment hippies. Opposition grew with African American civil rights, women's liberation, and other marginalized sectors of the community who all considered American involvement in Vietnam to be a mistake, a view echoed decades later by US Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara. It has been said that Americans don't travel overseas much, and according to the Huffington Post in a 2012 article, only 3.5% of Americans travel abroad, although they do not take lots of domestic holidays.
3.5%. That is so low. It really is heartbreaking that many Americans aren't able to experience the rest of the world, see the different cultures, experience all the different places, the foods, the music, etc. I mean, I can't remember what percentage of Americans actually have passports, because that is incredibly low as well. But then again, we may not go abroad, but so many Americans will travel from state to state. Loads of people from Pennsylvania will go out to, say, California or Florida or Maine. Like, I know so many people have gone to so many different states, usually in like an RV, which is really cool. Yeah, we just travel more within the US because I think it's more promoted, really.
And who can blame them with such a vast country to visit? Is it any wonder that when Americans do leave the States, they have a somewhat inflated opinion of their home country and therefore feel superior to some of the places they travel to, and therefore leave the impression that they have a national superiority complex? But not all Americans feel their country is superior. Although there are no true reliable figures, a 1999 State Department estimate suggests that there are between 3 and 6 million Americans living outside of the United States. The countries most visited by Americans include Germany, Italy, France, and the United Kingdom. A certain brand of travel known as
I honestly did not know there'd be that many expats. I thought the number was quite high. That's crazy. And to be honest, it's probably even more so now, as things are a bit crazy over there. It's scary, and if I'm being honest, I'm glad I'm here. The safety aspect is what does it for me every time. And I'm sure many Americans feel the same exact way. That's why they moved, whether it be for jobs or just a change of life. It's nice to get away.
Genealogy tourism is undertaken by Americans, whereby they travel to Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Germany, or wherever they have traced their ancestors to, and this type of travel is typically, by definition, of a respectful nature. Those who travel to the countries of their ancestors, and there are many Americans who do so, cannot be totally driven by a nationality bias, so on that basis, Americans aren't snobby travelers. According to an academic study on American superiority by Tappan, Ryan, and McKay,
I don't know how popular it is here, but researching and finding out about your genealogy is massive in the US. As a nation, we are fascinated with our family trees. Everyone likes to find out where they came from. However, I didn't realize that traveling to those places is commonplace. And I actually think that's really cool, to travel and experience other cultures. And I've actually heard that really annoys some people, like saying that I'm part Irish or part Scottish or whatever. And they don't like the idea that Americans claim to be something else. And I don't really fully get it. To a point, sure, that'd be a bit flattering, but maybe not. I don't know. I just think that's quite nice to want to celebrate a part of you and learn more about your background.
most Americans strongly believe they are virtuous and moral. Yet they regard the average person as distinctly less so. In the study, participants judged themselves and the average person on traits reflecting the core dimensions of social perception, morality, and agency, and found themselves distinctly better qualified than the next person. It should be noted that in this study, Americans were judging themselves against predominantly other Americans. However, the sense of overall judgment without doubt travels fondly overseas. National pride also seems to be a generational phenomenon, with the older generations being more nationalistic than the younger generations. As younger generations tend to travel, and the gap year among students becomes more popular, national pride does seem to be quietly fading among Americans. The more we travel around the world and experience different cultures, the less nationalistic we are, as national pride is often deeply rooted in the ignorance of other countries and cultures. It is basic human behavior that we fear what we don't know, and we accept and admire what we recognize and understand. But with that said, a little national pride is nothing to worry about, provided it doesn't go overboard.
So, I can actually agree with some of what he's saying. Like, I've lived in Pennsylvania for many, many years, and I'm only speaking for myself here, but I didn't know much about other countries or cultures. I knew, general bits from watching films or reading books, but that's it really. And now, before I get loads of comments saying that's a load of rubbish, but I'm only speaking for myself, not every single American will feel that way. Loads of them will have traveled loads of different countries and knows loads about it.
It's true.
And yeah, it can be easy to think the USA is the best country in the world if you've never left it. Because from the youngest age, we are told how wonderful and awesome it is. Every day. There's nowhere that compares to the United States. We are the greatest country ever. And it's not until you travel to other places and realize, actually, there is so much more out there. There are so many beautiful and wonderful things to see and experiences, people to meet, languages to learn. It opens up a whole new world. And it's sad people don't get to experience that. I'm so fortunate that I was able to, and that I am and continue to be able to. I'm so grateful for it. And I do think that sometimes nationalism is sometimes taken as superiority, and it just isn't always the case. Americans can be so patriotic and love their country so much that I guess it can come off that way. So I do understand it from the other side as well, how it can come off. And you'll always get arrogant people as well. I mean, there's loads of arrogant Americans, but then every country will have their arrogant people. That is just the way it is. Overall, I thought the video was okay. It didn't really answer the question that was asked, but then again, could you answer it? Because I think it would be yes and no. Yes, of course, there are Americans out there who will visit another country, try to use our currency to pay, and then get super upset when they couldn't. Duh. Like, how dare you not take the American dollar? But then there are others who completely embrace the culture and fit right in. Like me. But again, you'll get that everywhere. But what are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Who do you think are the most arrogant abroad? Let me know in the comments. And as always, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Smash that like button if that's what you're into. And I'll see you in the next video.